This is Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa. The story of resurgent and burgeoning Africa is here, only on the Pulse of Africa channel. Pulse of Africa, the face and voice of Africa.
Hello and welcome. You're watching Pulse of Africa News. I'm Fran Namak. Let's head straight to the latest UN tourism report. According to the latest World Tourism Organization 2025 report, Ethiopia, Morocco, South Africa, Seychelles, Tunisia and Sierra Leone are the best performing countries in Africa in terms of receiving international tourists. The report indicates that there was 4% increase in international tourist arrivals, overnight visitors in 2025, with solid results posted by most destinations worldwide. An estimated 1.52 billion international tourists were recorded around the world in 2025, almost 60 million more than that in 2024. 2025 marks a new record year for international tourist arrivals in the post-pandemic era. This reflects a return to pre-pandemic long-term growth trend, where arrivals grew on average 5% per year between 2009 and 2019. Travel demand remained solid in 2025 despite inflation in tourism services and geological challenges. Though it softened somewhat towards the end of the year, results were driven by strong demand, robust performance from large source markets globally, as well as the ongoing recovery of destinations in Asia and the Pacific. Increased air connectivity and enhanced visa facilitation also supported international travel, according to the report. Africa performed strongest in 2025, while Asia and the Pacific continued to rebound. The report shows Africa saw an 8% increase to 81 million tourists in arrival in 2025, with particularly strong results in Northern Africa. According to available data, Morocco, Africa's largest destination, welcomed 14% more international arrivals in 2025, almost reaching the mark of 20 million. South Africa, Ethiopia, Seychelles, Tunisia, Sierra Leone were also among the best performers in the first 11 of the 12 months of 2025. Nigeria plans to launch its first nationwide commercial clove cultivation campaign during the 2026 rainy season, which typically begins in April. Abdullahi Sheabu, National Coordinator of the National Association of Clove Farmers, Processors and Marketers, announced the plan in Zaria, Kaunda State. Local media reports that the new agricultural campaign will mobilize 74,000 farmers across the 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory. Each farmer is expected to receive improved seed and input to cultivate 0.5 hectares. While harvest forecasts are not yet known, the association aims to scale up production. The initiative seeks to meet domestic demand by substituting import and export any surplus production. Shabu said the initiative is aimed at making Nigeria the second African country after Tanzania to produce clove on a commercial scale.
Ethiopia's green legacy initiatives are restoring urban parks and expanding green spaces across our cities. Green spaces protect the environment and strengthen healthy, resilient communities.
Algeria has adopted a strengthened institutional framework to protect its information systems against rising cyber threats. Presidential decree defines the organization and operation of cybersecurity structures within public institutions, administrations, and agencies to improve the anticipation and management of cyber attack risks. Under the decree, each public entity will establish a dedicated cybersecurity unit that remains separate from the technical information system management function. The unit will report directly to the head of the institution and will coordinate all actions related to the data protection and system security, including for supervised agencies. The cybersecurity unit will design and oversee the implementation of cybersecurity policies, identify risks through dedication, mapping, and deploy appropriate remediation plans. The framework also requires continuous monitoring, regular audits, and the immediate reporting of any incident to the competent authorities. The decree further mandates compliance with personal data protection legislation in coordination with the National Supervisory Authority. In addition, it promotes coordination with public procurement and internal security bodies to integrate cybersecurity clauses into outsourcing contracts and strengthening the protection of personnel and equipment. Authorities expect the new framework to deliver a lasting strengthening of cybersecurity governance across the public sector and to support Algeria's digital transition through tighter institutional oversight. Burundian company Itracom Fertilizers Limited has announced plans to construct a fertilizer plant in Zambia with an annual production capacity of 1 million metric ton, a move expected to reduce the country's reliance on imported agricultural inputs. The firm said Zambia's abundant raw material and strategic location makes it ideal for large-scale fertilizer production. The announcement followed a meeting between Itracom chairperson Adrian Ntigasika and Zamibian President Hakainde Hichilema at State House in Lusaka. Ntigasika said the project could create up to 5,000 jobs and once operational position Zambia as a key fertilizer supplier to the wider region.
Then we thank you first of all. So I will continue to talk about Itracom Holding on his behalf. We are lucky because here we have the resources we need as a raw material. When we talk about organic, we are talking the use of cow dung, which we know is here we have a lot. They may not use it, but for us, it's a raw material at 30%.
President Hichilema welcomed the investment, describing it as a major boost to domestic manufacturing and agricultural productivity.
Africa is a continent that does the least business with itself. We do the very little or almost near nothing business with each other. We who you have elected into offices want to change this situation. When we talk of growing our economies, Burundi economy, Zambia economy, when we talk of growing the African economy, and therefore invariably we talk of investments in different sectors, we want to see investments in the context of Africa with Africa. African business people in Burundi, African business people in Zambia.
He noted that the project builds on economic cooperation, talks held during Burundi President Evariste Ndayishimiye's state visit to Zamibia in 2024, underscoring growing regional industrial partnership.
We also understand the importance of different types of fertilizers, right, which would suit certain soils. I'm a farmer myself, Mr. Chairman, so which will suit different soil types. So there's always a gap in the market, and we believe you bring a niche product in the market, and we are happy to welcome you here fully. You have our full support. Please indicate that to President, my brother Ndayishimiye, that you have our full support.
Zambia has long faced high fertilizer costs due to dependence on import and exposure to global price swings. The government says expanding local production is critical to stabilizing supply, lowering costs for farmers, and strengthening national food security. Shifting to business news, Gabonese BCEG, which is fully owned by Gabonese institutional and private investors and focused on financing small and very small enterprises, signed a partnership agreement with Bamboo Microfinance to facilitate access to banking services, mainly in inland areas of the country. The two institutions, the partnership through a convention signed last week. The agreement aims to bring banking services closer to Gabonese citizens by leveraging Bamboo Microfinance's branch networks, as Bamboo operates as a second-tier financial institution in Gabon. Through this approach, BCEG seeks to reduce mobility constraints linked to travel towards major urban centers where banking activity remains highly concentrated, particularly in Libreville, Port-Gentil, and Franceville. The two institutions thus confirmed their shared commitment to strengthening access to financing, supporting local businesses, and sustainably contributing to the development of the national economy fabric, Bamboo Microfinance said in a statement. The initiative also aims to lift Gabon's banking penetration rate. According to a BEAC report published in October 2025, the rate stood at 25.06% as of December 31, 2023, while the level remains modest. It significantly exceeds the regional average of 11.68%. S&P Global Ratings said it has revised the Democratic Republic of the Congo's sovereign outlook to positive from stable, while affirming its long-term foreign and local currency rating at B- and its short-term local currency rating at B. The decision reflects progress by Congolese authorities in fiscal management, foreign exchange reserve accumulation, and tax reforms, despite a still fragile security situation in the eastern part of the country. The rating agency expects economic growth to exceed 5% a year between 2026 and 2028, supported by the mining sector. The Democratic Republic of the Congo, which holds some of the world's largest copper and cobalt reserves, is benefiting from rising demands linked to the global energy transition, urbanization, and expansion of digital technologies. Copper output is expected to reach 3.3 million tons in 2025, 3 times the level recorded a decade earlier. S&P also pointed to the strengthening of foreign exchange reserves. Headlining on sports news, Rafael Lozan, president of the Royal Spanish Football Federation, RFEF, has announced that the final of the 2030 FIFA World Cup will be staged in Spain, underlining the country's credentials as a reliable host while reflecting on recent controversies that have shaken the global game. Speaking publicly, Lozan framed the decision as a recognition of Spain's proven organizational strengths and experience in delivering major sporting events at the highest level. The final will be played here. Spain has demonstrated its organizational capacity, Lozan stated, projecting confidence in the country's infrastructure, security planning, and event management. His remarks come as Spain prepares to play a central role in the historic Centenary World Cup, which will be hosted across multiple nations but culminates on Spanish soil. This concludes our coverage for this hour. Thank you for being with us. Goodbye for now.